I'm struggling really hard. I don't know what these next months are gonna hold for me, but I'm just hoping, Let me get back to what I was saying.
Okay, so have you ever, noticed how some stories just kind of blow up online? And, everyone suddenly has a theory? Everyone's got an opinion about it?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's exactly what's happening right now with this brand new Netflix documentary called Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing. It's like the internet is just buzzing about this thing. It's practically vibrating with, anticipation.
I can definitely see that. It's got everyone talking.
So today we're diving straight into this deep dive to try and, figure out what all the hype is all about. What's the big deal with this thing?
Yeah, this is a pretty fascinating one for sure.
Mm.
And it seems like for this deep dive, we're dealing with a massive wave of speculation, mostly happening over on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's all been fueled by those initial news reports. And that super dramatic Netflix trailer. I mean, that trailer was wild.
Totally. So today we're really going to try to get under the skin of all that online chatter. We want to understand what this documentary is rumored to be about. And maybe even more importantly, why Piper Rockelle's mother, Tiffany Smith, is facing so much scrutiny online. I mean, it's crazy.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot.
And a quick shout out to Eye Candy. They're a new creator-led agency, and they've been navigating this whole complex story and really trying to understand what's true and what's not.
Good for them.
So let's just start at the very beginning. What is the narrative that's taking hold on TikTok about what this doc is going to reveal? What are people saying?
Well, the interesting thing is there's this almost universal agreement across TikTok about what this documentary is going to be about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fans seem to be expecting that Bad Influence is going to be this big expose, finally showing us what they believe is a much darker side to Piper Rockelle's life.
Okay, so darker in what ways? What are the specific things that people are expecting to see?
Well, some of the descriptions going around are pretty intense. I've seen a lot of TikTok users calling this documentary like an unveiling of the shadowy world of child influencers. And they're throwing around some very serious accusations about abuse and exploitation. That apparently happened behind the scenes with Piper's squad. And there's this little promo clip that's been everywhere on TikTok.
Oh my God. Piper Rockelle's mom has reportedly settled the massive $22 million abuse lawsuit that was filed against her.
Billions of views, millions of dollars, hundreds of accusations. It's definitely setting a pretty dramatic tone, don't you think?
Yeah, hundreds of accusations.
Yeah.
That sounds serious. And it doesn't seem like Netflix is shying away from this whole, dramatic framing of the story.
No, not really. I mean, even the caption on the official Netflix trailer on TikTok says, "Explore the troubling world of child influencers" in this eye-opening documentary.
Wow.
And the fact that it's already got over 2 million likes just shows you how much interest there is in this story.
Right. Okay, so this level of online frenzy didn't just appear out of nowhere, right? There's got to be some history here. So let's rewind a little bit. What initially sparked all this suspicion and laid the groundwork for this documentary buzz? What happened?
Well, when you take a step back, the current situation really has its roots in a lawsuit. That was filed all the way back in January of 2022.
Oh, okay.
That lawsuit is the key to understanding what's happening now.
A lawsuit. Okay, so who was involved in this lawsuit and what were the allegations?
So 11 former members of Piper's squad, which if you don't know are the young creators who are always featured in her videos, they filed a lawsuit against Tiffany Smith.
Okay.
Now, Tiffany Smith is Piper's mom, right? And she was also her manager.
Right.
And the things they were accusing her of were really serious.
Yeah.
They claimed that they were subjected to emotional, physical, and sometimes even sexual abuse, all under her watch.
Wow. Those are disturbing accusations. What happened with the lawsuit in the end?
Well, it settled out of court in late 2024. And the settlement was for a pretty hefty sum, $1.85 million.
Wow.
We don't know all the specifics of the settlement because, those kinds of things aren't usually made public.
Yeah.
But the fact that there was a settlement that large definitely raised some eyebrows.
Right.
And I think for a lot of people, it kind of solidified their suspicions that maybe things weren't as rosy as they seemed.
So this lawsuit was really the catalyst for all the documentary speculation that's happening now on TikTok.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's interesting how online communities take past events and reinterpret them based on new information.
Totally.
It's like they always knew something was off.
Yeah, and they finally had proof. So for many fans on TikTok, that lawsuit was the first crack in the facade, the first hint that something darker might be going on behind the scenes.
Right. The lawsuit basically planted the seed. Okay, now let's trace how this idea of a documentary started to really take hold. When did people start thinking that this might actually become a Netflix series?
Well, the first whispers really started circulating online. In late 2024, right after the lawsuit was settled, some fans on TikTok noticed that Piper's former squad members were suddenly interacting a lot more online. They were spending more time together, commenting on each other's posts, and it led people to speculate that they might be working on a project together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they were basically like internet detectives, putting the pieces together.
Exactly. And even though there were no official announcements at that point, these fan theories really took off. And by December 2024, you started seeing videos with titles like Piper Rockelle documentary investigation.
Yeah.
And they'd use hashtags like hashtag exploitation and hashtag Kidfluencers. So even though it was all just speculation, it really introduced the idea of a deeper dive into this whole situation.
And then Netflix finally made it official.
Yeah.
Okay.
In early to mid-March 2025, news broke that Netflix was in fact producing a docuseries about this whole thing. And as you can imagine, TikTok just went crazy.
Of course.
Posts about the docuseries emphasizing all the explosive allegations and abuse surrounding Piper and her mom. They spread like wildfire. I mean, it was everywhere you looked.
So at that point, the title of the documentary, Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencing, and the release date, April 9th, they became public knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. What was the reaction on TikTok like when that happened?
Oh, it was intense. Everyone was like trying to break down every little bit of information. The confirmation that former squad members would be speaking out just added fuel to the fire. And then around the same time, Jensen Ramirez, who, was a former squad member and was super close with Piper.
Right.
He posted a TikTok that seemed to be teasing the project.
Oh, wow.
And that post got something like 1.3 million likes. So it really felt like something big was about to drop.
Yeah.
And that people within Piper's inner circle were taking this seriously.
Yeah, Jensen's involvement definitely gives the documentary a lot more credibility in the eyes of the fans.
Oh, for sure.
And then, of course, the official trailer finally came out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
March 21st, 2025.
Yeah.
That was a big day. When Netflix dropped the trailer on TikTok, the speculation went into overdrive.
I bet.
I mean, the trailer itself was pretty intense, but it was the caption that really set people off. It said, "Explore the troubling world of child influencers in this eye-opening docuseries."
Oh, well.
I mean, come on. They knew what they were doing.
Right, they were playing into the hype.
Totally. And the engagement was huge. TikTok was flooded with reaction videos, analyses of the trailer, and just a general sense of shock and disbelief. Like, people couldn't believe that these nightmarish stories about Piper and her mom were finally being brought to light.
Wow. So how has Piper herself been dealing with all of this online scrutiny and the crazy anticipation for the documentary?
Well, for the most part, Piper has been keeping a pretty low profile. But there was this one incident in late March of 2025 during a live stream she was doing with her friend Capri. Capri is known as C4PR1I on TikTok, by the way.
Right.
Anyway, during the live stream, the chat was just flooded with comments about her mom and the documentary.
Oh, no.
And some of the comments were really brutal, like people were making light of the abuse allegation. It was awful. And Piper, understandably, got really upset.
Of course.
She ended up breaking down crying on camera. And they had to end the stream right then and there.
Oh my gosh, that must have been so hard to watch. What was the reaction like on TikTok?
Oh, it was huge. Clips of Piper crying went viral all over the platform, with titles like "Piper leaves stream after dot comment" trending everywhere.
I can only imagine.
Most people felt really bad for Piper. They thought it was so messed up that people would say those kinds of things to her. A lot of them were saying that she didn't deserve to be treated like that. Even Piper's own TikTok account later posted a highlight from that night, focusing on her emotional reaction. It really showed just how much this whole thing was affecting her.
Right. And I think for a lot of people, that live stream solidified this idea that Piper might actually be a victim in all of this. Now, what about these reports of deleted online content and potential divisions within the squad? What's going on there?
Yeah, with the documentary release date getting closer, people are analyzing every little thing.
I know.
TikTok users noticed that Piper had deleted a bunch of videos from her channels that featured Capri, her friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this sparked a whole bunch of theories. Some people thought that maybe Tiffany, her mom, had told her to delete the videos so that there wouldn't be so much focus on Piper's personal life leading up to the documentary. Others wondered if maybe Piper and Capri had a falling out because of all the pressure of the situation.
Right.
It's hard to know for sure.
Yeah. And then there's also the absence of certain people from the documentaries, promotional materials, and discussions.
Right. That's another thing that got people talking.
Yeah.
The most notable absences were Piper's current boyfriend, Lev Cameron, and Jensen Ramirez.
Right.
And this led to some theories that Tiffany might have pressured them to not participate in the documentary or to just stay quiet about it.
Wow.
There was even this rumor going around on TikTok, totally unverified, of course, but suggesting that Lev had said in an Instagram story that he'd heard Jensen is being paid by Tiffany to say those things, implying that Tiffany was trying to silence Jensen.
Wow, that's intense. Did Jensen ever respond to that rumor?
Yeah, he kind of did, indirectly. He said publicly that he just wants to move on and heal from all of this. Fans interpreted that in different ways. Some thought he genuinely just wanted to distance himself from the drama, while others thought he might have been pressured to say that.
It's hard to know what to believe sometimes.
I know.
But it's crazy how TikTok has essentially created this super detailed timeline of the entire saga based on nothing but speculation, online comments, and viral moments.
It's pretty wild, right?
Yeah. Okay, so now let's focus on the main character in all of this speculation. Piper's mother, Tiffany Smith.
Right.
What are the major theories that have emerged about her role and behavior? What are people saying about her?
Well, Tiffany Smith is definitely at the center of this online storm, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The most common theory, and probably the most intense one, is that she's been abusing and exploiting these kids for years.
Right.
The commentary on TikTok is full of stuff that directly echoes the allegations from the 2022 lawsuit. And they're not holding back on the language they're using.
Can you give me some specific examples? What kinds of things are people saying?
Oh, there's tons of viral TikToks claiming that former squad members explained how Tiffany abused, essayed, and exploited those kids.
Wow.
They're directly accusing her of sexual abuse and coercion. One TikTok even straight up called her abuse sickening. These kinds of claims are coming from the lawsuit, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've taken on a life of their own on TikTok.
Right, and to a lot of TikTok users, these aren't just random accusations.
Right, exactly.
They're rooted in the fact that there was a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're constantly pointing back to specific things from the lawsuit. Like the claims that Tiffany allegedly tried to make out with Piper and told younger squad members to wear something sluttier.
It's just awful.
I know.
Okay.
The general feeling is that the documentary is going to completely destroy Tiffany's public image as this fun, supportive momager and reveal her true colors.
Yeah. So apart from the abuse allegations, what other theories are there about Tiffany's behavior and influence?
Well, a lot of people see Tiffany as this master manipulator. They say she controlled every aspect of Piper's life and career.
Oh, wow.
The narrative is that she ran the Piper Rockelle channel like a business, prioritizing views and engagement above everything else, even the well-being of the kids involved.
Right.
There are tons of posts claiming that she forced the kids to perform, put them in uncomfortable situations,
Yeah.
and even came up with fake storylines to create drama and get more attention.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people are asking how much of the squad's fun was actually real.
Exactly.
It's unsettling to think that those happy, carefree moments might have been totally staged.
It is. And this theory of Tiffany's control goes even further than that.
Oh, really?
After Piper had that meltdown on the live stream with Capri, some people were even saying that the whole thing might have been staged by Tiffany as a way to make people feel sorry for Piper and try to counteract any negative stuff that might come out in the documentary.
Wow, people are really suspicious of her.
They are. That particular theory isn't super popular, but it shows you how far people are willing to go.
Yeah. And what about Tiffany's relationships with the other kids in the squad? Are there any theories about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
A lot of people on TikTok are blaming Tiffany for all the drama and departures from Piper's squad over the years.
Right.
They say she's the reason Piper lost all her friends. They're accusing her of driving away anyone who questioned her or tried to stand up to her. People are looking back at the departures of Sophie Fergie and Claire Rocksmith, who are part of the original squad.
Right.
And they're saying it was all Tiffany's fault. They think she interfered in those friendships and pushed those girls away.
Yeah.
Because she wanted total control. They're pretty sure the documentary is going to explore that angle too.
So the overall picture of Tiffany Smith on TikTok is super negative.
It is.
Like, really damning. How do people think she's reacting to all of this?
Well, knowing that she's probably going to be portrayed in a bad light in the documentary. There's a lot of speculation about what she might be doing to try and control the situation.
Right.
Like we talked about earlier, some people think she might be trying to sabotage the documentary. They think she might have tried to bribe former squad members like Jensen to either not participate or to discredit the documentary's claims.
Wow.
There are even some less believable claims that she's paying people to make positive TikToks about her.
To try and counter the negative press.
Exactly.
Has Tiffany said anything publicly about the allegations?
Yeah, she has.
Okay.
She's denied everything.
Of course.
She says all the accusations are ridiculous and that people are just out to get her or get money from her. But people on TikTok aren't buying it. They're super cynical.
Yeah.
They're saying it's exactly what you'd expect her to say.
Yeah.
And they're convinced that the documentary is going to prove her wrong.
What about legal stuff? Are there any theories about Tiffany facing more legal trouble after the documentary comes out?
Oh yeah, lots of speculation about that. The question, how is Tiffany Smith not in prison, is everywhere on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
People are really angry. They're basically saying that if even half of these allegations are true, she should be held accountable. There's even some talk, unconfirmed of course, that Tiffany might be trying to take legal action to stop the documentary from coming out.
It seems like TikTok has already made up its mind about Tiffany Smith.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so let's talk about this C4P1I drama you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
How does Piper's friendship with Capri fit into all of this?
Well, Piper and Capri's relationship, or Cyper, as the fans call them, it's become this whole other interesting layer to the story. Capri's a teenage boy and a TikToker himself. And he's been appearing in a lot of Piper's recent content. And their friendship has really caught the attention of the fans.
Right, so how do fans view this relationship, especially in light of all the serious documentary stuff?
Well, initially people saw Capri as a really positive influence on Piper. Like, he was a source of support for her during this whole mess.
Right.
There are tons of fan edits and sweet comments about them on TikTok saying how good they are for each other and how he's there for her. There's this one clip from their live stream where Capri immediately goes to comfort Piper when she starts crying. And that moment really cemented this idea that he cares about her. Some fans even think that Piper's getting closer to Capri because of all the drama with her family.
That makes sense.
Like, she finds a sense of normalcy and safety in their relationship.
Like a little escape from the chaos.
Right, exactly.
But you mentioned some drama surrounding this relationship.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Not everyone is happy about it. Some of Piper's fans are getting frustrated because they think she shouldn't be focusing on this lighthearted romance while these serious allegations are hanging over her head. They're leaving comments like, "I get they're dating, but just stop. The documentary's a serious thing. They feel like it's inappropriate for her to be acting like everything's fine."
It's tough because she's just trying to live her life, but it's all playing out under this huge microscope.
Right, exactly.
So what happened with Piper and Capri online after that live stream?
Well, they both kind of went quiet for a while. They canceled some live streams, postponed others. Capri even posted on TikTok asking, should we stream again after last time? Which made people think that they were reconsidering their online presence after all the negativity.
Right.
And of course, the internet sleuths came up with their own theories.
Well, of course they did.
They started speculating that maybe Tiffany had intervened, that she blamed Capri for the live stream going south and told Piper to distance herself from him until after the documentary.
Wow.
There's no proof of this, of course.
Right.
But some people noticed a moment in the live stream replay where you could briefly see Tiffany and her partner in a reflection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that made people think that Tiffany was monitoring them. And then Capri liked and reposted a fan video that described the live stream as a mess and kind of implied that Tiffany was a bad influence.
Oh, wow.
So that just added fuel to the fire.
So basically, some people think that Tiffany sees Capri as a threat to her control over Piper.
Yeah, that's a popular theory.
And after that whole live stream incident, there were rumors that Tiffany made Piper delete videos that featured Capri from her YouTube channel.
Right.
And people are debating why. Some think it's a sign that Piper and Capri had a falling out, while others think it's just a PR move orchestrated by Tiffany to protect Piper's image.
Yeah, exactly. It's all very strategic.
This is getting so complicated.
I know. It's all web of speculation.
So even though Piper and Capri still seem close online, Most people think that Tiffany and her team are trying to control the narrative.
Oh, absolutely.
It's almost like this C4PR1I drama is just another symptom of the alleged dysfunction and control within Piper's life. This is all so intense, and it's all based on speculation and interpretation. To really get a sense of just how wild this is, can you give us some examples of the viral TikToks and comments that have shaped this whole narrative?
Yeah, okay. So first, there's Netflix's trailer caption. Explore the troubling world of child influencers in this eye-opening docuseries.
Right.
I mean, that just set the stage, didn't it?
Totally.
It was official, it got millions of views, and it basically gave permission for everyone to start speculating.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then there was Jensen Ramirez's post, where he was like, you guys got to watch this.
Right.
Coming from someone who was close to the situation, that really gave weight to all the rumors. And then you have commentators like CaptureCon who are making these really bold statements like accusing Piper's mom of sickening abuse. That kind of language really grabs people's attention, and those posts get shared like crazy. On the other side, you have people who are fiercely defending Piper, especially after that live stream. And it's Tullian23's comment, "Y'all, why would you write that to her? She doesn't deserve this." That really shows the protective instincts of a lot of Piper's fans.
Yeah.
And then there's the question that seems to be everywhere. How is Tiffany Smith not in prison? That really sums up the level of anger and disbelief. There are also a ton of comments expressing sympathy for Piper. Things like, Piper's a victim in all of this, and she deserves so much better. And even comments about Capri, like Bonnie's observation that you can't tell me he doesn't like Piper like this boy likes her. They all add to the emotional complexity of this situation. Even the discussions about the backlash that other former squad members like Sophie Fergie have faced, they just show how divided the fan base is and how strongly people feel about all of this.
Wow. It's like the internet has already written its own version of the documentary. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways from all of the speculation surrounding the Piper Rockelle documentary?
I think the biggest takeaway is just how intense the online speculation is and how much of it's happening on TikTok. The allegations against Tiffany Smith, which are based on that 2022 lawsuit, are really driving the narrative. And then there's a drama with Capri, which is seen as both a positive support system for Piper and a potential point of conflict.
So what we're seeing here is more than just hype for a documentary.
Oh, yeah.
It's a full-blown online event fueled by the theories and interpretations of the fans.
Exactly. This whole deep dive into the bad influence documentary buzz reveals just how powerful online communities can be.
Yeah.
They can shape public opinion before any official information is even released. And that's pretty amazing, but also kind of scary, don't you think?
Totally. It makes you wonder about the responsibility of content creators and platforms when dealing with such serious allegations, especially before all the facts are out.
Right.
And it also makes you think about how we consume information these days.
Absolutely.
How do we navigate these complex stories in this crazy, fast-paced digital world? It's a question we all need to be thinking about. Thanks so much for breaking all of this down with me.
No problem. It's been interesting for sure.
This whole thing is a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it really is.